Hello friends, as you can see it is now Christmas, which shows you how long after YALC I am filming this video, because honestly I just haven't had time to sit down and film it, and now I do have time, but it's been nearly a month since YALC happened, so it's well overdue. So YALC 23 happened. I was going to try and vlog it, but actually I completely forgot to film anything once I was inside, which I think is a relatively good sign because it shows I was having a lovely time. But it does also mean that I have to do this video in kind of like a jumpy way. So I'm going to chat to you about YALC, put in the clips that I did film at YALC, and then I filmed a haul from YALC when I got back because I wanted to put all the stuff away, but I knew I wouldn't be able to film the whole video, so there'll be a past Layla in different clothing talking about the YALC haul, which I'll then edit in halfway into this video and then carry on. So there's going to be kind of like lots of jumping around, but I still hope it's somewhat enjoyable. So let's talk about YALC. Now this is a heads up, this is going to be a long video, so get yourselves a snack or a hot drink or whatever you need to get through it, because we're here for a long haul. If you don't know what YALC is, it is the Young Adult Literature Convention, and it is upstairs in Comic-Con at Olympia in London, and basically it's just a big place for all the fellow book nerds to meet up and go to signings and panels to hear our authors talk about their books and the writing process, and there's giveaways and competitions and stalls of people selling stuff, basically like Comic-Con but for books. I had a lovely time this year. I went with a group of friends from home. I met lots of book Instagram mutuals in YALC in person, which was really lovely. I got to meet lots of authors and I got to go to lots of signings. So let's go through it day by day. I went up there on the Friday with my friend Amber, and we checked into a hotel, which was interesting. We had food and basically just chilled out ready for Saturday, because coming out of London, getting there really early for the Saturday morning wasn't going to be ideal. So we stayed in London the night before, and my friend Leanne joined us that evening. Saturday morning, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, we made our way to Olympia, London. Was really nice to be surrounded by fellow book nerds, and when we went into YALC we went and got our signing tickets. If the camera angle has moved slightly, no it hasn't, I just can't remember who I met on what day, so I just dug out my old schedule. On the Saturday, the first thing I did after kind of looking around all the stalls and stuff is we all went to a panel about mythological retellings and retellings of kind of Greek tales and ancient historical tales across different times and places and stuff. That was really interesting to hear, especially because there's a current like massive boom in retellings. It was really interesting to hear how authors are putting their own spin on it to make their books stand out in a very oversaturated genre at the moment. And yeah, there was a couple of authors there I really loved. Sarah Underwood and Sarah Arifi were both there. They had really interesting points that they raised, especially about putting women at the forefront of their stories, which again is something that's really popular at the moment but I will never lose interest in reading about, so that was really fun. After that I went to a signing of Kaylin Byron, who wrote Cinderella is Dead and this Poison Heart series. I think she is amazing, and this was the first time since I've been reading her books that she was even in the country, so it was really nice to finally meet her and tell her in person. I think her books are bloody brilliant, and I can't wait to read her new book, which is a Snow White retelling. And she was saying to me at her signing that she has a lot more retelling ideas in her head, so I look forward to seeing what she writes in the future. After her signing I got to meet Zulfa Katow, who is the author of the beautiful heartbreaking book As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow. If you know me in person or you follow me on Instagram, you will know I have not shut up about this book in a long time. Since I read it, it genuinely completely opened my eyes, changed my life. It's an incredible book that I think everyone should be made to read. It is so impactful and powerful. One of my favourite books ever written. If you've not read As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow, make that one of your 24 books you have to read in 2024. So I got to meet her, and I have followed her on social media for a while, gained a small collection of lemon trees, and I took my special sprayed edge edition that I got someone to spray the edges for me. Really lovely to meet her in person and thank her, talk about this amazing book with her. And at one point she asked me what my ethnicity was, not in a like accusatory way. She was just like, wait, where are you from again? And I was like, oh, I'm British, but my dad's Turkish, so I'm British Turkish. And she was like, oh my god, I know you. And I was there like, what? and she remembers me from tagging her in non-stop stories on social media about how much I love her book. And I was like, Zolfa Katal knows who I am. She knows that me, like Turkish Layla, she knows me. Because my name is a name of the character in the book. And I remember being like, hey, there's a character who is the same name as me, but I'm Turkish and she's not. But hey, it's so cool that we've got the same name. But yeah, so she told me she remembered me, and I was like, that's a bit mad. That's a bit mad, you know? So yeah, that was really lovely. And I find that the signings at YALC are really sweet because actually, although there's a lot of people trying to meet these authors, they seem to understand the impact their books have on people. So they take their time with everyone they speak to. They're also passionate and so lovely and just so happy to be there, clearly. And me as a reader, I was happy to be there, so it was nice to see that reciprocated with them. They were actually the only two things I planned to do on a Saturday, so a lot of Saturday was just chilling, wandering around, going to the various stalls, listening in on what people had to say, entering giveaways, entering competitions, winning free stuff, and just generally having a lovely time. Also on a Saturday I got to meet some of my lovely book Instagram friends. I saw my friend Nat, who I see at various book events, but it was lovely to see her at YALC. I got to meet my friend Rima, and I got to meet my friend Sophie. Sophie being the person behind the Butterfly Book Club, which I won't go into just yet because in the whole part of this video I talk about them. I also got to speak to my friend Elena before the retelling panel, which was really nice. So to anyone who spoke to me at YALC that we are friends on Instagram and met in person, it was so lovely to meet you, and you all make my heart so happy. And then that was the end of Saturday. The days flew by, so we went back to another hotel, had some food, and just got an early night ready for Sunday. And on a Sunday, again, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, made our way back to Olympia and started the fun all over again. The Sunday, I had a few things I wanted to do. So the first thing I wanted to do was go to a panel about fairy tale retellings, and it was led, overseen, what's the word for like the person who like leads a panel, and it was led by Joel Rochester, aka Fictional Fates, who is one of my favourite book content creators because I think they have really insightful discussions about books and they're just a generally lovely person. So I got to say hello to them, and then I got to see them do their panel, and that was really fun. And it had a lot of really interesting authors retelling different fairy tales across different periods of time, and it was really fun to hear them talk about how they put their take on classic fairy tales. Again, it's a really oversaturated genre at the moment, but I think there's some really great and interesting and unique stories out there to be heard, and all of their books sound amazing. So I do want to pick up all 3 of their books now, and I did actually film at the beginning of that panel, so here is that clip here.
Welcome to the Ever After panel, and thank you so much for coming so early in the morning. We're so excited to be chatting to you today about everything about retellings, fairy tales, just kind of all the things that like we reconstruct and reimagine in our respective texts. My name is Joel Rochester. I'm a content creator over at Fictional Fates. I discuss books of varying genres and varying things, and I absolutely love reading retellings. I love writing them. I recently contributed to a Black horror anthology called All Descended Souls, which was a reimagining of Frankenstein. And I'm currently writing a Gothic Dark Academia, which is kind of a reimagining / continuation of Hamlet. So I will pass it on over to these lovely authors that I have, who will introduce themselves, their books, and what they retell or reimagine.
Hi everyone, I'm Laura Bates. I am an author. This is my 8th book, and it's called Sisters of Sword and Shadow, and it's a reimagining of Arthurian myths and legends, but with a feminist lens. So really just asking the question, what if there was a completely kick-ass circle of female knights, much like the Knights of the Round Table, and the only reason we've never heard of them is because all of the men that they defeated never told a soul about it.
Hi everyone, I'm Sarah Street. This is my first book, A Curse of Salt. It's a Beauty and the Beast retelling set on a magical pirate ship. And my next book out next May is Sapphic Red Riding Hood retelling, also with pirates. So yeah.
Hi everyone, my name is Jan Dunning. I am the author of Mirror Me, which is a retelling of Snow White, but it's also got a hefty dose of Dorian Gray in there as well. and it is a supernatural thriller set in the London fashion world, which is a world that I know quite well because I used to work as a model and then as a photographer. So it's a sort of supernatural geek girl, and it has a lot to say about beauty and perfection and influence.
So yeah, really interesting panel. Had a fantastic time. That's probably my favourite one out of the weekend. And then after that I had two authors I wanted to meet that Sunday, and that was Samantha Shannon, and I really hope I'm saying this name right, I need to get an audiobook to find out, Adiba Jaigirdar, please correct me, the author of Honey and Issues Guide to Fake Dating. Again, meeting these two authors was really lovely. I got to thank them for how much I love their books and for writing such incredible books, and how much joy and happiness they bring me and how much comfort, and I just love both those authors, especially Adiba's books. Oh, they make me feel so happy and warm inside and all fuzzy happy feelings. The Do's and Donuts of Love was a hilariously heartwarming read. Think Bake Off but make it sapphic, and it's set in Ireland and it's great and I love it. She's also written A Million to One, which is a heist on the Titanic, which hello, why would you not want to read that? And of course Samantha Shannon, author of The Bone Season, which came out 10 years ago, which freaks me out a little bit because I remember reading it when it first came out 10 years ago, and now we've got a revised edition 10 years later. Like, how insane is that? Where has that time gone? And I actually had a really lovely chat with both these authors, and it just made my heart so happy. And then again, the rest of that day was basically just wandering around, chilling out, going to various stalls, because there was pretty much the same stalls there the Saturday and the Sunday, but both days had different things going on and different competitions and giveaways and stuff. Something really cool on the Sunday is that on the Saturday we entered a competition where you had to crack a code in Morse code, and when you get the answer you give that to the person running the stall, and you got an arc of a book that was coming out next year. And on the Sunday the author was there signing, so I got to get her to sign my arc, which is really cool. I'm very excited for it. I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but it's the author who wrote Ace of Spades, which was a fantastic read. If you've not read that, think Gossip Girl, and it's amazing and I love it. I can't remember her name, it's really annoying me. I think it's Farida something, but yeah, got to meet her on a Sunday, got to get her to sign my arc, and that was really fun as well. The rest of the Sunday was just wandering around chilling out. Something really fun I got to do both days is I'm at the Fairy Loot stall. Cody from Cody's Book Corner was there because I think she works for Fairy Loot. I think she said that in her videos before. I love her videos. They are like ultimate comfort watching for me because I'm like, oh, they're just so chatty and chill. And yeah, she was there with the Fairy Loot store on both days, and her famous wheel was there, the famous wheel, and I got to spin it on both days. And on the Saturday I spun it and won a little pin. I think I talk about this in the haul, so you might hear this bit twice. And then on the Sunday I won some very special books, which I'm not going to talk about because that is in the haul. But yeah, I got to spin the famous Cody's Book Corner wheel, and I got very excited about that. Here's a little clip from when I spun it for the first time on the Saturday. You can see how happy I am. I got a pin. Honestly, highlight of my weekend was spinning Cody's book wheel. What else do I want? Speaking of Cody's book wheel, that brings me nicely onto the haul part of this video, because like I said, I won some special books. You might want to know what books I got and what are the various goodies. So here is where I'm going to put in the bit about the haul. Here's the haul part of the video. Pass later, over to you. Hello everyone. If I'm editing the video you're watching correctly, then you should now be watching the haul part of this YALC video. I'm going to go through everything I got, as well as the books that I took with me to get signed, and I am going to be brutally honest, I cannot remember where I got everything from. If I can remember I'll try and tell you, and if I can remember on which day I'll try and tell you, but it's going to be a bit of an all over the place haul, just because I can't remember what I got on a Saturday, what I got on a Sunday, who I got it from, stuff like that. So I'm going to try my best, but basically let's get into the haul. I'm going to start with the odd little bits and bobs first. So because I was one of the first 500 people to buy a YALC ticket for the weekend, I got a YALC goodie bag, and that bag basically was a tote bag like this, and in it came lots of papery bits and bobs, some of which are still there, which we'll get to in time. I can't remember everything that came in here, but I did get a YALC themed pen, a YALC themed lanyard, and a YALC spork. Hello, that's the best thing in here. They know that people are going to need to eat, like, I don't know, pasta. So yeah, I got a few YALC themed bits in my YALC themed bag. That made me very excited. That's a great, like, first thing to get the second you walk through the door. So that was that bit there. In other little bits and bobs, I also won on one of the wheel spinny thingies on one of the stalls a packet of tissues. They are themed to I Loved You in Another Life, which is a book I have not read, nor do I own. But I'm an emotional wreck, so they're going to come in useful. I got a couple of stickers, so I picked up a sticker for Girl, Goddess, Queen. I got a Harper 360 sticker. I don't even remember picking this up. This might have been a freebie in the bag for all I know. And then I got a YALC themed sticker, which definitely did come in the bag. And at Hot Escape, I got a Stephanie Garber signed book play. And because I went to her signing, I got her to sign my first paperback copy of Once Upon a Broken Heart. So I'm going to put this in my paperback copy of The Ballad of Never After. So it matches that one as well. Oh, I love it so much. This is such a lovely thing for them to have that you could get out in a day. I'm not going to lie, I am not normally a sticker person. But, you know, if they're there, I'm going to take them anyway. I like stickers, but I'll take them and not know what to do with them because I don't want to put them somewhere and then change my mind. So that's why I don't normally pick up stickers, but I really like stickers. That was like odd little like random bits that I got that I wanted to go through, and now let's just go through everything else. So one of the small businesses that was there that weekend is a business I love, which is called the Butterfly Book Club. They are a book club that you can buy books from online and themed boxes, kind of like Fairy Loot or Illumicrate, I guess. But the difference between this bookstore is it's an independent business and they support indie authors, and they do special copies like Illumicrate. Sometimes they do new covers, sometimes they do sprayed edges, sometimes they're signed, sometimes there's bits in the boxes to kind of work with the theme of the book or the vibes of the book. And so they are a business I love. I have bought from them before. I think they're absolutely brilliant, and they were there selling some of their leftover stock or just some extra books they had and other various bits and bobs. And so I picked up 2 books from them. I picked up The Land of Never After, which is a queer retelling of Peter Pan. I love any Peter Pan kind of story, and the cover's really pretty, so I bought it. And under this copy I've just seen, look at that little like hardcover design. How cool is that? I love that. I do actually remember seeing this book on their website, like on the book box, and wanting to buy it, but at the time I didn't have enough money. So I'm kind of glad they had leftover stock of this to sell to me, because now I actually have the book and I am very excited about it. Next book I got was Daughter of Fire. I don't really remember how they sold me this, but I remember I got really excited about it. I think they said it has like Greek mythology vibes and some mixture of the Grim Reaper, so I bought it, and the author was actually at the stall signing the book. So here is my signed copy. It says, "Who, Layla, this is what you died to do. Daughter of Fire," and that is Stacey Willis with her signature there. And it says on the front page that I just saw that this is an exclusive Butterfly Book Club edition, which is ever so exciting. And again, under the dust jacket, we got a cool design here, which I am loving. I'm always here for supporting indie authors, new books, and they are really good at amplifying diverse books. And so there's a lot of authors from various different backgrounds, various different cultures, so they're not only indie, but they're really diverse, and I love that they are big champions for that. So yes, I bought 2 books off there. They also came in these really cute drawstring bags, a bit like the Fairy Loot ones, but look how cute that is. I am going to keep these and use these for future things. Don't know what said things are, but I'm going to keep them and use them for future things. And I got given 2 little cute little pieces of paper, one of which is a bookish content planner and one of which is a mini book review page. I don't know if you can buy like full-on journals of these on her website. I might have a look, because these could be very useful for me, and if not I might just photocopy them. But I do want to, like, if I can pay to have more of these, I absolutely will be doing that. Especially because this one, I have a lot of video ideas that I want to do in the next few months. So this is going to be very useful for that indeed. And I love to do kind of like, I like to write long book reviews, but also I want to start doing kind of like short and snappy quickfire reviews for some books that I have some thoughts on but not a lot on. So this can be very useful for that as well. So yes, thank you Butterfly Book Club for these. And something I found when I got home that I didn't realise is I got a couple of pop sockets. It's got the little Butterfly Book Club logo on it and their website. Yeah, and their website. I like that logo. That's really pretty. But that was really sweet, and I didn't even realise, I might have paid for that and I just didn't even clock. I just got very excited to see them in person. I was like, oh my god, you're real, you're here, you have a face and legs, and you're not on the internet. So I just got a bit carried away. But yes, they were also from the Butterfly Book Club. So that was the first 2 books I bought and one of the stalls I visited that weekend. I will put the link to the Butterfly Book Club in the description. You should all go check them out. See if there's anything that takes your fancy, because they are amazing and they're so lovely, and their books and their boxes are sublime. I have put everything behind me in no random order, so we're going to jump between books to pins to bookmarks to prints and from stalls to stalls. Next up, I won an ARC. I don't remember how I won this. I think I spun a wheel. No, I spun a dice. I rolled a dice, a Dungeons and Dragons dice, and the deal was if it landed on an even number, then you would win an ARC. And I was like, oh, well, my luck's really bad. So I spun it and it landed on a 2. So go me, it was great. One ARC for the book Goddess Crown. On the front it says, your presence is requested at the Royal Court of Gala. I know nothing about this book. It just says it is a book for fans of Twin Crowns and This Woven Kingdom. It's a dazzling feminist fantasy. And the setting of Gala, the place within the book, is inspired by West Africa and is home to a cast of unforgettable characters. There is romance, courtly intrigue and danger. So, sounds right up my street, and that foiling is beautiful. So yeah, that was a really nice little fun thing to win, and I am excited to just see what it's about. On the Saturday, one of the stalls I visited was Kingdom Book Designs. They did my special copy of As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow, which is right here with my special lemon printed edges. They are a fantastic business. They do really cool sprayed edge designs. They have got lots of different designs on their page, and I just think they are brilliant. And they were doing a lucky dip where you could just pay £5, get a book, and it's a completely random book. You don't know what it is until you open the paper, and it will have sprayed edges from their company. So I paid £5. I got a lucky dip book. I got The Cruel Prince, which is a book I love. Look at those edges. How cool is that? Look at the little frog. I love it. That is so cool. It's got a block green bottom and top. That's amazing. If I was going to get any book in a lucky dip, I'm glad it's one that I loved and not a book that I'm like, about. So, love that book. Love those edges. Great £5 to spend. What a win. But as you've noticed, we're already on 3 books I bought. In my defence, I didn't buy that many books. I won some. I was a lot better behaved than last year with how many books I bought. And I save all year for this. So, you know, it is what it is. It's a book convention. Of course I was going to go crazy. So the next 3 books are books I won, all from different stalls. The first book I'm going to talk about was from the Macmillan stall. On a Saturday I went to visit their stall, just have a little look round. And on the back, one of the pictures they had was like a big bookshelf. And facing out on the bookshelf, they had pictures of books that are published under their company, and I spotted A Tempest of Tea, and I was like, look, it's A Tempest of Tea, I can't wait for that book, that's so exciting. And she was like, are you coming to our tea leaf reading tomorrow? And I was like, what? And she was like, we're going to be doing tea leaf reading tomorrow for A Tempest of Tea. I was like, oh, that sounds great. So I went on a Sunday and I was like, read my tea leaves, tell me everything. And she was like, yeah, you're going to be very lucky. And I was like, oh, that's exciting. You need to have some self-discipline, she said, while I was stood next to my suitcase and 3 tote bags full of books. So that's where there's no self-discipline. And she said that I need to slow down or something like that. She was like, you're very full on. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And then she just surreptitiously slid an arc of A Tempest of Tea towards me. I'm literally going to cry on camera. I'm so excited. It's got vampires. I can't wait. So I've got an arc of A Tempest of Tea. What the hell? I literally walked off from the table and cried. My friends can vouch for that. I was very happy. Felt very lucky. The next book I won, it was a group effort because I struggle with stuff like this. So you were given a card and you were given a Morse code, like translator, and a code in Morse code. And you had to decode the code in Morse code and then write it in invisible ink on this piece of paper. As a group, we collectively cracked the code and wrote it on the cards. And we got an arc of the book Where Sleeping Girls Lie. That is going to be the cover. How cool is that cover? Look at that. And this is a book which says secrets haunt these hallowed halls. It says it is dark academia. It is a slow burn sapphic romance, boarding school vibes, and dark secrets and dark hearts. So I am buzzing. So yeah, we all got to win a copy of this arc by doing that little competition. And on the Sunday, the author was just there at the table. So I got her to sign my ARC for me. She was so lovely. Also signed another little thing, which I'm going to get to in a little bit. But yeah, she signed my ARC for me. She was really lovely. I was saying how much I loved Ace of Spades and I can't wait for her new book. And yeah, that was a really cool opportunity I got. I got to win an ARC and then get her to sign said ARC. How fun is that? So yeah, and that is a chunky boy. I am very excited for this book. Next book I'm going to talk about is, and again, another winner. For this one, again, I just had to spin a little wheel, and if it landed on a certain thing, I got to win something. So it landed on where you can pick a book from the table, and that is your prize. So I picked a fantasy book because I got told it was a dark fantasy called The Morrow's Secret. It's the first in a trilogy. Apparently it's got like generational trauma vibes in it. It's got dark fantasy. There's like a magic journal, magical dark forest. She was just saying a lot of words at me and I was like, this sounds right up my street. So I just kind of picked it up without really knowing much about it. But I won it and it does sound up my street. So I'm very, very excited about that. And what's not to like about winning books, you know? Every book you win is a great book. So I'm very excited for this one. So that means we're on 3 books that I bought and 4 books that I won, which takes us to 7 books in total, which is not too far off my total number of books. The next 3 books are 3 books I bought, and I bought them all from the same stall. I'm so sorry, I cannot remember the name of the stall that I bought them from. It was really lovely, and it was a stall championing voices of colour and LGBTQ plus authors and all the lovely diverse reads that necessarily you wouldn't see in bookstores or pick up. I bought 3 here because this bookstore was doing 3 hardbacks for £10, so I was like, perfect for me, because originally I was going to buy 2, went to pay for them, and she was like, well, it is 3 for £10. So I was like, well, I was just looking at this book, so I'll take this one as well. So the first 2 books I bought were My Dear Henry, which is a Jekyll and Hyde remix by Kaylin Byron. Anything Jekyll and Hyde, I'm there. Anything Kaylin Byron, I'm there. That cover is amazing and I am loving the look of this. And it's only a little book, and I read the Great Gatsby remix in this same imprint, which was Self-Made Boys, and I loved that book. So yes, that was the first book I bought, which was My Dear Henry, the Jekyll and Hyde retelling. Next book I bought was Teach the Torches to Burn, which is the same imprint as the Jekyll and Hyde book and the Self-Made Boys book, but this is basically Romeo and Juliet but make it gay, which I'm absolutely open to reading. Again, sounds brilliant. The third book I bought was Fatima Takes the Cake. It's a book about a black Muslim woman and her tale, and it's a coming of age story, and she kind of goes through a lot of these trials and tribulations. She has a fair few struggles that she goes through, and it's about her finding herself and her identity. At least that's how it was sold to me. I haven't read the book, but it did sound really good and really up my street, really thought-provoking, really interesting. A really powerful read. So that was the third book I bought. Next, we're going to take a pause from the books and go through some prints and bookmarks. YALC is a book convention, which means there's going to be a lot of bookmarks. A lot I was given for free. So I'm not going to go through every bookmark with you because that's just going to be very boring for you to see. But I am going to go through some of my favourite ones that I picked up this weekend. First one wasn't even from YALC. On the first day we went downstairs to Comic-Con to go outside because you have to go through Comic-Con to leave. And because YALC is in the same place as Comic-Con. My friends got distracted by the Studio Ghibli stuff at a stall, as they should. Studio Ghibli, fantastic. I did not buy anything Studio Ghibli. I bought a pink cow bookmark because I love cows, and look how gorgeous that is, and it's so cute, and it's a bookmark. So that is one of my favourite bookmarks I got this weekend. One that isn't even from YALC. Love that for me. Next bookmark was free. Oh, I cannot believe it. It was just chilling on Walker Books' table, and I'm like, why is this free? They were like, it's just free. It's one of the Wood and Cassandra Clare bookmarks, which was, I think, I want to say, an incentive for Chain of Thorns. And these were originally a pre-order incentive, or like a pre-order gift, or whatever you want to call it. And they were just giving them away for free. How cool is that? Look at the sword. It's wood. That's so cool. So that is another one of my favourite bookmarks I got this weekend. When I tell you I've got a lot of free bookmarks, I mean a lot of free bookmarks. Honourable mentions. This really cute Proud bookmark. The Ink Blood Sister Scribe bookmark, which says not all books should be opened. That book is on my shelf. I haven't read it. Daughter of the Moon Goddess and Heart the Sun Warrior bookmark. A shiny gold Feybound bookmark. Neem Tree Press bookmark. They're the ones who I reviewed No Funeral for Nausea for, and they're the one who got me to interview the author, which was really cool. Once Upon a Broken Heart / Ballad of True Love / Curse for True Love, whatever you want to call it. Stephanie Garber theme bookmark, of course. Ballad of Songbird and Snakes bookmark, hell yeah. Butterfly Book Club bookmark, hell yes. A Kaylin Byron bookmark, hell yes. A Percy Jackson bookmark, Again, hell yes. A pretty foiled Heartstopper bookmark. And In the Lives of Puppets bookmark. And a Adiba bookmark with all her gorgeous books there. I love Hanny and Issue, and I love Do's and Donuts. These were on her table at her signing, so I took one when I got my book signed. These next two bookmarks I paid for. So the first one was a Percy Jackson bookmark from, I want to say, No One Design. This is a second grade bookmark. I can't see anything wrong with it. But it is the gorgeous Percy Jackson Riptide sword with this nice lovely tassel, and you can see the trident in the middle. I just think this is absolutely stunning. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous bookmark. I'm going to save it for like special books to read because how amazing is that? And the other bookmark I didn't technically pay for, but I won at the Ethereal Design stall, and so you could spin their little wheel if you followed them on Instagram, which I do, haven't done for many a year, and I won a free foiled bookmark. So I chose the Ballad of Songbird and Snakes bookmark. How pretty is that? I am so excited for that new movie. That book is fantastic. So that is just a selection of the bookmarks I got that weekend. And now let's look at some of the prints I got. I got a print for Bridget Kemmerer's new book, Destroy the Day. I love this series so much. I finished the second book like a couple of weeks ago, and I need the third book. I cannot wait for this book to come out. So that's a little print I got given. The next print my friend Amber picked up for me because I didn't see it anywhere, and it's a little Heartstopper Volume 5 print. At the same stall that I had my tea leaves read, I picked up a little Tempest of Tea book cover print, and they were giving out really shiny stickers, but again, I don't know what to do with a sticker, so I put a sticker on the back of the print so I can't lose it. So that was the next one. I picked up a Sad Ghost Club print because I love that graphic novel series. It's so heartwarming and wholesome and relatable, and this is the little print there. It says, I know exactly what you mean. 6 simple words and suddenly Sam doesn't feel so alone. If you have not read this graphic novel series, I hugely recommend it. It's the most gorgeous graphic novel series. And that was some of the prints I got. We'll go back to books and then we'll go to pins, because oh my god, I got so many pins. There was a store where if you bought a certain amount of books or spent a certain amount of money, you got a free tote bag, and I may have 150 tote bags, but I could always do with 150 more. And this one says Stories are Universal, which I thought was really cute with all the different design of people on there. So I set out to try and find 3 books I wanted, which needless to say didn't take a lot of hard work. So the books I picked up were XOXO, which is a book about someone who falls in love with a K-pop idol, and it just sounds hilarious and like a cute little rom-com and right up my street, and it's signed. So that was the first book I bought. Next book I bought I've been wanting for ages anyway, so I just used this as an excuse to get it, and that is Almond, and this follows someone who is incapable of feeling any emotions, and I just thought that was really interesting because I think he ends up losing someone and he is really struggling about how to cope with that, especially because he doesn't feel anything, and then someone steps into his life who he ends up kind of having a bond with, and it's a book about that by the sounds of it. It's been on my radar for ages and I wanted to read it for a long time, so this was a great excuse to pick that one up, and I've heard really good things about it. Third book I picked up was 14 Magical Tales of Trans Magic, and this book just sounds great. This again has also been on my radar for ages. I wanted to read it for ages, so I used this chance where I needed to buy books to buy 3 books and get my free tote bag. Next is a book I didn't win, nor did I pay for. My friend Nat won 2 copies, so gave me one, and it is called The Love Interest. I did try and win this, but I kept on losing. This is about where a superhero kind of is formed on Earth, I think, and he saves someone's life. The first person he ever saves, he saves her life, and because she's the first person he's ever saved, everyone is like, oh, they're in love, and she's like, no, we're really not. And everyone is like, yeah, you guys are in love, he saved your life, you're his first person he ever saved, you must be so in love. And she's like, ugh, no. And then he is like, just fake date along with me, it'll be fun. And so it follows like that, like fake dating and, you know, forced proximity, I guess, and just general superhero carnage, and it just sounds hilarious, and I think that sounds great, to be honest. I love it, can't wait to dive in. So yeah, thank you Nat for giving me your second copy. Which brings us on to the last book I bought, which is Modesty, a Fashion Paradox. I bought this from Neem Tree Press because I went over to their table to say, hello, I think you guys are great and you have given me 2 books to read and review now on my blog, which is really nice of you, and you let me interview an author, so I wanted to come say hi. And they started showing me some of the books on their table, and this book had been on my radar for a while. I'd wanted to read it for a while. It sounds like a really interesting non-fiction examining modesty in fashion, because it is starting to kind of have a real big boom in popularity. So I picked up this book and it was only £5 because it was in paperback. It was £10 for hardback, £5 for paperback. Love that. And because I bought this book, I got a fun page of free stickers and there's a Turkish eye on there. Winning. Now you'll notice I say that was the last book I paid for. There are 4 books left that I did not pay for that come together as one. So at YALC, Fairy Loot had a stall, and running the Fairy Loot stall, one of the people there was Cody from Cody's Book Corner, whose videos I love, and there was the famous wheel that they spin in all their videos. So I got to spin her wheel. I did it on Saturday and I won a little pin. So I went back on Sunday because you're allowed to do it once per day, I think. And so I went back on a Sunday and I went to spin it. And I won the last set they had there that weekend of the Fairy Loot Raven Cycle Special Editions. I didn't see that coming, and this was first thing on a Sunday morning, and I won them, and I was like, that's amazing, but I don't know how I'm going to get these home. So I got them home in another tote bag. They are stunning. So the first one, I believe, is the Raven Boys. It sounds like it's kind of just full of magic and mystery and intrigue and all the things that I normally love in a fantasy book. We've got decorated inside pages, we've got foiling on the hardcover, you've got reversible dust jackets. It's the same on all 4 books, like there's all these kind of special customizations and they are all signed. And this was just such a huge surprise. It was an amazing surprise. I was not expecting to win anything like this at all. I was expecting maybe a print, and to win it off Cody, off her special wheel, whose videos I watch all the time, that was amazing. It was a brilliant start to the second day. So that is all the books. We will go through the odd little bits of paper and stuff like that and some pins, and then that's the end of the haul. So something I thought to do this year, which I didn't think to do last year, which is very clever, was to get a little plastic sleeve and put all the little bits of paper and stuff in here, which I found really helpful. First thing, like a little YALC companion. So in here it had a lot of information about the event that weekend. So it had like the schedule, it had a map, it had a bit of information about all the stalls that were there. So this was really fun, and I love this as a little keepsake of the weekend. I got a lot of samplers from publishers. So there's a sampler of like Harper 360, their young adult titles that are coming up this year and next year. Another one for Sourcebook, another one for LGBT plus YA samplers through Little Tiger Publishing. And then I got a whole plethora of books that are coming out, and I got like kind of first chapter samplers of them. Here I got the first chapter of Daughter of Winter and Twilight. The only issue is this is the first chapter to a sequel book, which I haven't read the first one of, so I might just have to unhaul that, give it to someone who wants it more than me, or wait till I've read the first book, because the first book is called Queen of Coin and Whispers, which I've never even heard of, let alone own. The first sampler to the book Songlight, which is a book that's out in September. I know nothing about any of these samplers because I've not looked at them since I got home, but it's always a bonus to get kind of a little sneak peek into books that are coming out and see if it's your sort of thing, see if you're going to want to read it. So yeah, first chapter to Songlight. I got the exclusive first look to a book called The Book of Doors. I already know that I'm going to want to read this because it sounds like it's a book about books, and that is out in February next year. I am very excited about this. I got the first little look into The City of Stardust, which is the new book coming out from Hodescape, full of magic and fantasy, and that alone is enough to make me excited for a book. And then I won a pin and a sampler for the book House of Ash and Shadow, which is book 1, so I'm guessing it's going to be in a series, and this is coming out in January next year. One sampler I did win, which I say won, it was very easy to win. You had to write down your favourite enemies to a lover's book on a post-it and stick it on a board, and if you did that, you won a sampler to 4 Eads and a Funeral, which is a book I'm really excited for next year. So this is coming out in June next year, and it's 2 of my favourite authors combining. So I won this, and this is what I got for Rita and Adiba, both to sign. How cool is that? So yeah, I am really excited to read the first chapter in that book and fall in love with it already before it's even out yet. That was all the samplers. Now let's move on to pins. There's a lot. I'm not necessarily going to go through all of them, but I'm going to go through some of my favourites or some really special pins. Also, I just remembered there's 2 more tote bags I need to tell you guys about. So the first pin I want to show you guys is my favourite pin I gained this weekend, and that is this huge Percy Jackson pin. It says Camp Half-Blood, and this is Camp Half-Blood, and I think I got this from No One Designs. I love this pin. I've wanted it for so long. It's been in my basket for about 3 months, so when I saw it there on the table I was like, now is my chance to take it. Lip Pins & Co is another company I store and they had a deal on where it was like 3 pins for £15 or something like that, and there was 3 pins I wanted, so I picked up 3. I got this one which is themed off the Night Circus, and it says, "Is magic not enough to live for?" How gorgeous is that? I picked up a House in the Cerulean Sea one which says, "Change starts with the smallest of whispers," and look how adorable that is. And I picked up a Percy Jackson one which says, "The real world is where the monsters are," and I love it. I love it. Anything Percy Jackson, I'm there. The pin I won at the Fairy Loot stall from Cody, like I said about on the Saturday, was a little spell book, which I think is really cute. It gives me like kind of dark academia fantasy vibes. I don't know how well you can see that, but hopefully well enough. And then from Kingdom Book Designs, because I follow them, I won a free pin, and I got a little Addie LaRue pin here with the kitty cat from the library. I can't remember its name, but that's that cat all curled up. The House of Ash and Shadow sampler that I showed you, the pin that I won with that is a little crow. How gorgeous is he? And then I'll just show you 3 of the pins I won because the rest are interesting to me, but I'm sure you don't want to sit here and watch me talk about pins for ages. So I won a little Ballad of Songbird and Snakes pin. Actually, I think they were free to take. I either won it or they were free to take. I won a Dark Shade of Magic themed pin from No One Designs. I haven't read it yet, I promise I will, but the pin is beautiful. And then I won a Defender Dawn pin with a little potion bottle, which I love that because I didn't get this when the book came out because I was late to the party. So yeah, I love that I got to win it retrospectively. Something else I bought at YALC, which I can't show you because they're in the wash, is some Heartstopper socks. How cool is that? I want to say that was from Lit Pins & Co, because that's where I got the pins from. Yeah, they are so cool. Let me insert a picture here because Heartstopper socks, hell yeah, anything Heartstopper, I'm there. And then I left with 2 more tote bags because of course I did. So I had the tote bags that I showed you, and then I got a book from House of YA, which just looks like that. Home is where the books live. I mean, exactly. And then you could win these tote bags, but I was having bad luck, so my friend Amber won it for me. It is a Grishaverse tote bag which says "No mourners, no funerals, #Grishaverse," and on the back it says Crooked Kingdom. I know I haven't read Crooked Kingdom yet, but I loved 6 of Crows so much. Oh my god, I think I'm prolonging reading Crooked Kingdom because I loved 6 of Crows so much, but the way it ended, it will not be long before I go into Crooked Kingdom. So yeah, very happy with that. That brings us on to the last bit, which is the books I took with me to YALC to get signed. This is not going to be in any order, so let's just go through it. First one was Zulfa Katal, author of As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow, and this is my special Kingdom Book Designs book, and in here she has signed it to Layla. May your life be as magical as a Studio Ghibli movie, Zulfa Katal, and there, if I can pick it up, is the page. Next up, Kaylin Byron books. I think she's brilliant, and she signed my copy of Cinderella is Dead, This Poison Heart, and This Wicked Fate. I didn't take with me her new book, You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight, because I haven't read it yet, and I was really scared if I read it and don't like it, and then she signs it. I'm sure I will love it. And she signed all 3 books of these the same, with To Layla, Love, Kaylin Byron. Next up is Samantha Shannon, who signed her 10th anniversary copy of The Bone Season, my Forbidden Planet edition. I haven't read the revised copy yet, but I did have a nice chat to her about it. I just can't wait to see what the changes are, so she signed that for me. Next is Adiba Jayagradar. I had to sign my copy of Hanny and Issue's Guide to Fake Dating and Do's and Donuts of Love. It meant so much speaking to this author, getting to thank her. She signed my Hanny and Issue copy with For Layla Keep It Real, and she signed my copy of the Do's and Donuts of Love too. Love is a Battlefield. The last book I got signed was Lies We Sing to the Sea by Sarah Underwood with my special Illumicray edition. I've been taking this everywhere with me to get her to sign it, everywhere she is. First time she signed it, she signed just For Layla, which is right here, Godspeed on the Terror of Mortals. Then the next time I met her, she signed her favourite chapter and her favourite line, and then this time she signed a chapter which I cannot share because it is a massive spoiler, but she signed a chapter with a little comment underneath being like, "You think this? It's gonna be this. If you know, you know. If you want to know it, just let me know and I will send you a picture, but I do not want to share that because it is a bloody huge spoiler, and I found it absolutely hilarious. I think she's brilliant as well. I feel so lucky to have met these many authors this weekend. I feel so lucky at this haul. It was definitely worth me saving up for, but yeah, I feel really satisfied with all the beautiful things I left YALC with. It's editing Layla here. You'd have thought with that giant haul we just did, I'd have remembered everything, but I didn't. There was a really sweet part of YALC where you could sit and make friendship bracelets or just bracelets, and it was really soothing, and it was a really nice way to like take a step out of the chaos of YALC and have like quiet little moments just to make a bracelet. So I want to show you the one that I made, because this is one of my favourite things I got this weekend, and the reason I forgot to include this bit is because I've been wearing it all day. I made a bracelet that says Evangeline, I don't know how well you can see that, Evangeline, smiley face, Jax. And then there's some blue and some pink, and now that just constantly is on my wrist. Evangeline and Jax. It was free, and that was one of my favourite parts of the weekend, actually. Just sitting there with my friends, making our silly little bracelets for our silly little serotonin. Okay, now that is everything. And now you can see my Percy Jackson pin has already been put up. There they are. And yeah, that's the end of the haul part of the video. Back to the main part. After that, it was end of Sunday, time to go home and unpack all the stuff that I got and wait again for next year now. So yeah, that was YALC. I had a really lovely time. It was so much fun, especially because normally in events like that I get quite overwhelmed, but actually it was really lovely to go there with friends, have a lovely bookish time for 2 whole days, be surrounded by fellow book nerds who get as excited about books as I do. That brings us to the end of the video. Thank you for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it, or at least found it somewhat insightful or interesting, or some positive emotion. So yes, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye.